Hi, I'm Connie from Free Motion by the River, and today I want to take you on a tour of my quilt studio. I haven't done a video of my quilt studio for a couple years, and we've been here for 2 years, which is a record for us because the last 6 years we've moved like 4 times. But we're very happy here. I love my room, and I want to show you what it looks like. So come along for a tour. Okay, we are upstairs. Now we're going to walk down here. And this first room, little vestibule to the basement, is where I keep a lot of my batiks and my AccuQuilt dies. I've got that quilt hanging because right now I can't show you the fabrics. I have bolts of fabric behind there. That is for an Island Batik collection I will be sharing with you later this spring. Okay, so these are leftovers from different projects that I have done. These are all batiks. And like you can see, there are some of my AccuQuilt products. I have the big electric machine that I love and use. Okay. Now we're coming into my quilt studio. My long arm. I bought that 2.5 years ago. Takes up a lot of room. It is nice when doing a big quilt. Right now I'm having some problems with the tension, but I'll get that figured out. Then I have a design wall. This is the only wall I have left, which it works. See the area. There is a bookshelf there with books, odd things. There are my UFOs for 2026. And this one here was the one that was picked for January. So I got to get that quilted. I also use my long arm as a storage place. There is a tote from Missouri Star Quilt Company I will be sharing with you soon. I'm doing a giveaway on it. Then I keep some of my card making things here. I've actually moved everything around, and this whole side, well, that side has a lot of my rulers and things that I use for my long arm quilting. Then I go over to this wall, put it back up so you can see it. And this is new this year for card making. I've moved shelves around. I've reorganized things. So it's a fun project. So you can see I've got paper, cards that I've made, supplies, lots of supplies, because we try to do card making every Friday night here at my house with the grandkids and my daughter. In these are old shelves. People are going to ask. You can't get them anymore. They're from IKEA. They have something that's similar, but you can see they're nice. I've got paints, distress inks in there. This was something I worked on at Christmas time. I used the yogurt jars and made little gifts. Watercolors, painting, odds and ends. More card backgrounds that I haven't used yet. And I also have a little bit of quilt projects over here. Actually, forgot about that one. And here. And then a whole bunch of 2.5-inch strips that are, I believe these are the Moda scrap bags. Need to do something with them. I think that one's empty. Then you can look over here. This is my markers, alcohol markers, different things that we use for card making. which is a lot of fun. And all of my Taylor inks, plus some other companies' inks. And my Big Shot. Most of this stuff when we're working on Friday night, it goes over on my big table. And I finally started labeling things, so I know what's in the drawers. Mini inks, Velcro. I like to use Velcro. Over here, blocks, dots, adhesive. Go a little bit over here. Looks like it's all card making. It is. Different things that I use, papers and everything. And then we kind of get over to my sewing machine. And this is where I do my sewing. I love my 1591 vintage Singer sewing machine. I've got drawers here. Mostly in them is odds and ends. I do this top one, is very important. It has my clips and my safety pins for quilting, my needles and bobbins. And then it just gets kind of a conglomerate. You never know what's going to be in there. Things I need to sort out. Lots of stuff I need to sort out. This drawer I keep for samples so that when I want to start free motion quilting, I just grab something like this and I can put it on my machine and test out the tension. Other drawers, I don't know, they're odds and ends. Sewing machine, it's my favorite. Here's a baby quilt that I'm working on. My light, I love this light. And I'll have links down below to some of the things. Here's another IKEA drawer. I had Bob put rollers on the bottom of them. And this was, I think it's called a candle maker stand, wood stand, but I bought it on Amazon, but I don't think you can get it anymore. But this is just little things I keep on my table. My iPad. And another sewing machine. This one I use for applique or sewing my batting together. There's Rusty. And here are things that I use this machine for. The drawers here, my drawers are usually kind of a mess. You can kind of see what's in here. I don't know. It works for me. I usually keep the scissors up here that I use all the time, my roller, my seam ripper. I like to have them handy. Second drawer is all my Aurifil thread. Then I have some old Coats and Clark's thread and connecting threads thread. A mix of a little bit of everything. Comes in handy. A lot of these are really old, but I still use them. And this drawer has everything I need to work on my old sewing machine. So I like to keep everything handy in there. You notice this extension for my extension? Love it. I bought several of these. You can plug them in all over the place. Things you can plug in. There are also USB connectors. I don't think this was that expensive. It was on Amazon, and boy, is it nice. Then, I just bought this table. I don't know if I can show it to you here. A friend of mine, Vicki, had bought one for her new quilt room. And after I saw it, I was like, this is what I need. And let me see if I can show you. Nope, I got to hold on to it. Can you see how it's going up? So now my table is up. It'll go further. But then I've also put in codes so it knows to go back down to the height that I like to fit right behind my sewing machine. I love this table. Bird seed down there. We can go outside. I can take Rusty out. Refrigerator. It's always handy to have. And my daughter bought me this magnetic board. She made it for me for Christmas to put some of my dies up that I use all the time. It's the matter, Rusty, trying to figure out what I'm doing. So this is something new this year. This is a whole wall of my card making supplies. I love it. So I'm getting it all organized. Like I said, we have Taylor Expressions here in town. So we shop there every week. So it's really fun and got everything. I'm getting things organized so it's easy to find them. I love organizing. I probably love organizing as much as I love quilting. Over here is my ironing table. This was an old desk of my daughter's that I got. And then I put the wool felt on the top. I love using that for pressing. An iron. There is some snacks. Another one of those outlet things. And then I've got another $15.91 over here. What I use this one for is winding my bobbins. Don't really need to, but what the heck. I always like having a backup. This wall has a lot of rotary cutters, rulers. There's a wall hanging that someone made me a year or two ago after Mickey passed away. It's so cute. In here, I have lots of rulers. And then I have more rulers other places. Something I didn't show yet, this is my big table. This was actually Bob's table when he did woodworking. And then when he quit doing that, he gave the table to me. He lowered it to make it the right height for me standing. Down below, that's where I keep my scraps that I have cut into 1.5, 2-inch, and 2.5-inch pieces. And then I also have 2.5-inch strips width of the fabric. Garbage cans, I have them everywhere. I like garbage cans. So over here on this wall, some cards over there, and then here's some fabric. You can see the batiks at the top, and then I have an assorted group of fabrics here. Fabrics up there. More a wall to just look pretty. These containers, or this storage unit here, is usually what I use for my Island Boutique projects. They haven't picked any ambassadors for 2026, so I don't know if I'll be doing it or not. But you can see what I do is I sort everything and put it in there. If I have a project, I try to keep the group together until I get the project made. Can't show you that one. Here's one that I need to get made. I mean, to make something with that. Also, this is a lot of batiks. I've got them sorted like by greens, purples, oranges, reds. I don't know, that was a project. And these are some solid batiks. Another project, leftover pieces that I worked on. So that is usually how I keep that stuff stored. Lucky, I have a bathroom down here, which is handy. Over here, I have a wall These are some more bamboo shelves. Love these. They're easy to put together. What I have on them is a lot of my fat quarters and some projects that I need to get finished. This is a spare bedroom. It goes through spurts. I like to put quilts on here that I can share, take photos of. My AccuQuilt electric machine is in here. My mink that I use for card making. This is some things I haven't sorted out yet. It's from all the advent calendars that I received this year, I purchased. I've got different things to work on. So like I said, it's a nice bedroom when people come over. I have a closet here that is full. But you can see there are some more of my quilts, whips. Don't know when they'll get done, but a great place to store things. My quilts, that's my scattered and my mini scattered. Come back out here. My room is big. I like it because I walk. I do a lot of walking from this sewing machine over to the ironing board, over to the cutting table. And it just keeps me moving around. I like that. Okay, this is a small room, no windows. I use it to store everything. All my quilts, quilt projects. These are the ones that I haven't given away or donated or sold. That's some sorted craft stuff. But as you can see, yep, lots of quilt projects. It's a mess. I need to redo it. I've been pulling things out lately, so everything's kind of wrinkled. Also here, more storage. Hope I don't make you sick looking at this video, walking around. This is some stuff that I moved in here. It was underneath my cutting table, but now that we're doing the card making, I wanted to be able to have it where we could sit at it. So I moved these in here. My batting, lots of batting. These shelves, I'm not even sure what all is on here. I do have them labeled finally. A lot of vintage stuff. More batting. I'm gonna have to buy a roll of batting pretty soon. I'm getting low. So, this little table I've got here because I've got my C-stand so I can turn on extra light, and we kept tripping over this. And yep, I do have one extension cord that we've got to be careful of. But I like it because then I get extra light here. I like a lot of light. And as you can see, here's some more projects that are underneath there. Wool, all kinds of goodies. There was the cheeks here. These are actually, they're all small pieces. They're not very big. Less than a yard usually. Sometimes less than a half a yard. And then here's some fabric that I've put on comic books, boards. More batiks, some solids. Hi, Rusty. Can you say hi? Yes. So this is a view of my room. Let me know what you think of it. I love it. This is my happy space. thought I'd give you a better look at, this is my scrap system. I don't keep a lot of scraps anymore, but as you can see, this is 1.5-inch squares of batiks, 2-inch squares of batiks, 2.5-inch squares of batiks. And then I do the same thing with regular quilting fabric. 1.5-inch, 2-inch, 2.5. Looks like it's time for me to do something with them. Over here, I have 2.5-inch strips of batik, 5-inch squares of batik, 5-inch squares of cotton, and 2.5-inch strips of cotton. And as long as I'm down on the floor, there's a better look at that quilt. So I better get it finished and get a pattern for you. I hope you've enjoyed seeing everything, and please like and subscribe to my channel.